So I just came home, checked out my YouTube page, and what do I see? 306 people have subscribed to my channel. For over 8 months now my subscribers count was stuck at around 280-290 subs, and honestly I was pretty happy with that, because I never wanted to have a big audience, but today is the day where my army of 300 is complete. Back in 2007 when I created this channel, I have decided that no matter what kind of content I will be uploading, I will not encourage anyone to subscribe to me, because in my opinion, if people will find my content interesting or entertaining, they will subscribe without a single word of encouragement. I've stuck with that philosophy till this day, so that number of subscribers really means a lot to me, because I know that it was your and only your decision to click that subscribe button. So to celebrate that, I thought that I would make a compilation of what are in my opinion the best moments recorded on my channel throughout the 3 years of uploading. Enjoy, and as always, I see you all next time. Hello once again YouTube, today I'm bringing you something new, fresh, pink and round. No, not a tits, but in fact a triple metronome Jigglypuff battle. Now since my Audino is a female, his is a male, we go to the trick room, inevitable happens and I give him AIDS. And on top of that I get a bird which finishes his Hindu fox cat thing before it even gets a chance to do anything. This Chinchino is actually carrying Protect, and my logic behind it was it's pretty much a submachine gun, so you need a Protect in order to reload it. This isn't really a good matchup for me and he knows that, so he sets up a coal mine as I go back to Medicham, just so I can hit it with much more powerful high jump kick, but then it goes completely wrong. High jump kick misses, Aladdin breaks his leg and as he reaches in pain, gets poured with a boiling water and dies in agony. Damn, you wouldn't want to be in his place. Now I bring my Raikou to set up the rain, but he doesn't know about it yet, so before that I go for HPI's predicting a Claydol and it does around 35-40%. Then I go for a Rain Dance and knowing how much hidden power did, 100 base power Weather Ball boosted by rain will surely take him out, right? Wrong! He lives with a few HP left, so I guess you can call it a revenge smidgen. He switches to Togeki's name I'm Special, which is very useful to know with all those physical hustle sweepers around. So Piloswine, you may be a physical defense monster, but from a special side you aren't that tough, so goodbye. Spinda, I don't know why you don't go for a Sucker Punch, but oh well, you can join Piloswine too. Girafarik, you are a monster and you live a hit like a monster, but what's that? You go for a Calm Mind? Well, that's pretty much a death wish, so let me make it come true. Now I bring my Phantom to finish the game, but right after I choose the move I'm like, wait a second. But toxic damage gives me only one more turn before I die. He knows that as well, so he brings his Glaceon and protects again as I explode in act of desperation, and now I go to what? Because that is pretty much my reaction to what just happened. Then I try to toxic this Audino, but he's like, I don't know, and hits me with Specs Thunderbolt, but thanks to my Wakanberry I take this well and receive my wish. So now he's like, you've got to get mad, and goes for T-Bolt again, but I'm like, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not gonna take this anymore! So I live a T-Bolt and answer with Mirror Coat, which easily one-hit KOs him. Now I go, backwards. The downside is, now he has a switch advantage, but Sergeant Crit cannot look at his teammate dying and decides to sacrifice his life for a team and take a Flare Blitz. So now Sniper comes in, and seeing that enemy responsible for Sergeant Crit's death takes cover, focuses his energy and takes an accurate shot on a Frillish as he goes for a Nightshade. A direct hit from AWP does a lot of damage, so he tries to recover it now, but my Sniper takes one more shot and he goes down. So I'm pretty sure that even after a curse my Jamaica should be able to take out his Bugs Bunny, which is a beaver. Don't trust this guy, he is trying to trick you. Now since we are in Jamaica, he passes me a joint and I get so high that I faint. So don't do drugs people, or that's how you will end up sooner or later. He brings his Nidoqueen and I switch to Slowking, so we have some sort of royal family on the field. I take Earth Power relatively well, regarding the fact that this is probably the stupidest Slowking set ever made. And here is why. Since he turns out to be a Life Orb variant and switches his move to a Thunderbolt, I go for a Brine. Yes, a Brine. Knowing that he will easily bring me below half of HP, so with max special attack investment I'm expecting it to be an easy one-hit KO. But it isn't. It isn't even close. And it wasn't long after this battle that I finally realized that Brine is doubled in power when an opposing Pokemon is below half of HP, not the user, making it one of the most pointless moves in the game. Because when you think about it, if you broke the opponent below half of a move, why on earth would you need it doubled in power to finish him? So basically this Slowking should have R removed from its name, but thankfully he dies to another Earth Power, as well as his set itself. He jumps on his belly as I switch back to Beautifly, and that somehow makes him powerful as fuck, so then he destroys me with a quad resisted Brick Break. No worries though, because in comes Fatboy Slim, and with double priority I can take care of him. Except not really, because he leaves both of them and destroys me with Flare Blitz, but recoil damage makes it a double down. So now he brings his Mickey Mouse, which looks nothing like a Mickey Mouse, but that's beside the point. My IV on 5 flinches him with Waterfall, so now he is able only to get his rocks up before I take him out. But then he goes for a Thief and steals my leftovers as I set up a Trick Room. So now I'm like,
enough is enough! I have had it!
I switch to my Choice Banded Trapinch on his taunt and demolish him with an Earthquake. On the plus side, that allows me to go back to Genesect and safely set up a Rock Polish, knowing that he is locked on an Outrage for at least one more turn. Then I hit him with a Water-type Technoblast. Yeah, signature moves for the win. Even at +1 from down note, he survives it, but seeing awesomeness of my Scissors, he realizes that he stands no chance and commits suicide. Vitek is able to finally kick in, yo! Rhyperior, Ice Beam, Dome, bye! Heracross, gear up, another Vitek kick, Hydro Pump, gone! Dusclops with his one, I never even saw it coming. And last but not least, Meganium, another crunch, see you later, and across the finish line. Now though, I go to Bobby, because you never fuck with Bobby, especially if he has a Power Herb and a Freeze Stroke, and Arceus learns that the hard way. Now he brings his Thunderous named Porn King. That's some weird porns you watch, Casper. Anyway, he goes for a Thunder, and thanks to my HP investment, it does less than half, so I'm all excited about getting another Freeze Shock off even without Power Herb and destroying something else. and then he turns out to be some sort of mixed attacker and takes my puppy out with a hammer arm. Aww. But then of course another Draco meteor misses and he takes me out with a shadow ball. So Bill, what do you have to say about that?
Fucking thing sucks!
My thoughts exactly. So now if only his body slam doesn't paralyze me, I got the game. But of course...
Fucking thing sucks! That is it for us today.
Yeah, thanks for that, Bill. That pretty much sums it up. But then he brings his Pikachu, which happens to be a physical attacker, which happens to have quick attack, which happens to be enough to take me out. I lead off with Nosepass, my opponent with Lairon. We both set up our rocks, you know, because pro, and then I Thunder Wave him, just to help out my Electro Ball Raichu do its job later on. Meanwhile he turns out not to be fan of One Direction and roars it out of the stage. Anyway, since we ended up with a double down, he goes back to Bannet, and seeing my answer to this thing, probably poops his pants a little and switches right out to Dusclops to take a Dragon Claw. So I switch to my Togepi to do some shenanigans, and I take a HP Psychic well enough that I can T-Wave and then confuse him with a Sweet Kiss. So madness with madness. Here we go. He gets pretty much another free kill with Life Orb Retaliate. It's all good though, as long as Mr. Chisel is around. Shout out to that one guy that watched Grandma's Boy and gets the reference. You see, Mr. Chisel is a kind of guy that doesn't give a fuck about any laws of the game. No, he is the one that makes rules on the battlefield. So he crits incoming Shellgun with Vacuum Wave, seeing that it's gonna survive the next one otherwise, and then just finishes it off, no big deal or anything. In comes Basculin, and knowing that because of my dry skin, the only move that he can threaten me with is a double edge, I go right back to Rhyhorn to take it. However, the fact that he locks himself on an Aqua Tail instead tells me that he isn't aware of my dry skin. So with that in mind, Mr. Chisel enters the battlefield again, backed as always, but that doesn't stop him from giving my opponent's team quite a beating. So I set up a nasty plot on his switch to Stoutland, and then proceed to Vacuum Wave everything. Stoutland, boom, dead. Basculin, Aqua Jet? Well, thanks for the HP. Boom, dead. Octillery, boom. Alright, now light my joint up. I'm gonna take a break and let the others have some fun. Now, let's stop here for a moment. Most of the times I'll just mention a crit on either of sides and move on with the battle, but this particular crit is very significant. In fact, had I seen this coming, I would rather sack anything on my team but Fungus, because it was my answer to Stantler, Dragonair, Luminion and even Bertic, so I just want you to observe 1 minute silence for a brave mushroom that defended the team till the end. Nah, I'm kidding, but in a nutshell, that crit blows major balls. So Corsola, used once in a Blue Moon by Pokemon players, is the last one standing on my side of the field, facing 3 still strong Pokemon, takes a Thunderbolt from Manly Mantler himself, but is not able to enter with the same kind of power, as Power Gem does barely any damage, but instead of just ending these tortures, in comes Luminion, laughing in his face and saying, "You've got to do better than that," then throws him into a whirlpool as he's fighting with continuously racking up toxic damage, but the harder the exhausted Corsola tries to hit his opponent, the louder he laughs at him, until finally, Lieutenant Bird says, "That's enough," seeing the toxic damage taking the last signs of life from Blue Moon, and so, the battle ends. He does indeed switch out and brings his Golduck, so I figured it's time to bring my Trollicans to scout what he wants to do. He goes for a Psychic on my switch, and by the amount it did, I'm guessing it's Choice Scarf, so that gives me a free turn to set up a Calm Mind. Yes, Calm Mind. Is there a problem? Using his Prankster ability and the fact that I just used Calm Mind, he goes for a Copycat to raise his special defense, which in turn allows him to take a Scald without the Focus Sash and power up his Reversal.
What the fuck?
seriously, mind blown. Then I bring my Rufflet, which is in fact a Hustle variant, so I miss a Brave Bird on his switch to Wigglytuff, and then Superpower, giving him a free double edge. But then his Wigglytuff is like, you know, Vision Express is just behind the corner, and Apache replies,
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
finally puts his shit together and demolishes him with a Superpower. I lead off with
Head on, apply directly to the forehead.
not only to set up my rocks, but also with 2 water types on his team, there is a really good chance that he will apply it directly to the forehead. You will see what I mean. He however decides to go straight for a Super Fang, and because of that, head-on application gives his Mawile only a little bump on the head rather than ripping it off. Then I set up a wish as he goes to Slowpoke, and now...
Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? 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 Guess who's back?
It has to be said, head-on was applied quite successfully today. So he decides to switch to his Houndour as a death fodder to regain some of his health with Regenerator in hope that it will allow him to take it, but guess what?
I'm a fire in my laser.
It isn't. Then I get up to +4 as he goes for another Air Slash and proceed to doodle the fuck out of him. Now he's down to his Hitmore, and Giga Drain is so obvious that even Capitan Obvious didn't bother to mention it. This isn't just any Machoke however, ladies and gentlemen, and he quickly makes me aware of that by setting up a War Cup as I knock off his Eviolite, which scares the shit out of me, because this basically puts all of my predictions in a paper bag and sets it on fire. So this is one of these battles which look like they have a few turns missing and start from somewhere in the middle, because there are no Stealth Rocks, no Scouting, turn 1, Galvantula, Life Orb Thunder. Nope, not quite enough. Entei, Life Orb Flare Blitz, see you in a different life. So on my side there is physically defensive Stealth Rock Cobalion, Relic Song Meloetta F Healbell, Coal Mine Virizion, Mixed Life Orb Sharpedo, Little Annoying Fuck Nugget, and Scarfed Chandelure for late game cleaning. I lead off with Altaria, and as opposed to Swoobat who is trying to calm his mind, Netsky wants to get the party started, and boy oh boy, so he does.
Big man a come, the next guy. From Belgium, better than the next guy. From the boy we no run, hang them out to dry. The next guy. Big man a come, the next guy. From Belgium, better than the next guy. From the boy we no run, hang them out to dry. The next guy. Big man a come, the next guy. From Belgium, better than the next guy. From the boy we no run, hang them out to dry. The next guy.
I answer with another Brave Bird and it straight out takes him out, Hunchcrow showing some raw power. After a Moxie boost he can only pray to the gods of hugs, but they don't listen. Sucker Punch destroys his Flygon, and with Psychic being Cresselia's only attack he can't touch me, so I use that opportunity, roost off all of the recoil from just 14 HP, and another Brave Bird does so much damage, it's painful to watch, so he saves his remaining pokes from this slaughter by forfeiting, and that is the game. Leading off on my side is Krtek. You know him by now, you know what he does. Pretends that he is a Stealth Rock lead and destroys the opposing lead with Life Orb Earthquake. Well, maybe except physically defensive Eviolite Gabite, which is like, you call that Earthquake? I'll show you the real Earthquake. But Krtek leaves it with 4 HP and responds, you call that Earthquake? I'll show you the real Stealth Rock. Now I can go to my own Snap Dragon and I'm pretty sure that he's going to stay in unsure what to expect from me, so I show him a little teaser. Specs Draco Meteor.
Oh, snap!
So I switched to Big Bill version 2, and as much as I would love to set up Gravity and take him out with Thunder, I know that even if I take 2 hits from this Shredder, he's gonna revenge kill me right after, so instead I go straight for a Hyper Beam. That's right, we are not messing about. So I pretty much dodged the bullet right there. And not just one. Fire Blast? No, I don't think so, these specs are not good for you. How about now? Nope, still can't see for shit. You better visit the eye doctor and let someone else battle. I didn't mean this thing, but no matter, I'm physically defensive, I can sponge— oh my god! Now, for those of you unfamiliar with concept of alphabet battles, basically you and your opponent choose the same 6-letter word and then use the first letter of Pokemon names to form that word. So, more observant of you probably already noticed that we've been very serious and mature and have chosen Fingers as our word. He gained some offensive momentum by U-turning to Raichu, but now get a lightning rod boost and this is a moment when Agility Electro Ball Raichu is gonna put in some work. You see, I'm not really worried by his toxic spikes, and as most of you know, Draven has a decent base attack, and Earthquake, the best move that he has to hit me with, is quite powerful by itself. So what do you think? How much it's gonna do? 100 HP? 80? Nope, 21 after leftovers. That's it. Crastelia has her name for a reason. Seeing his name, I'm like, no sex jokes, please. As some of you know, I don't have the greatest history with Slowkings, and although this one has actually a viable moveset, it's not holding any item, because who needs it, right?
Ass! Fuck!
Then he goes back to his troll and offers me his choice scarf, but Bandit is like, you know, I like my choice band more, keep your scarf. So we end up with an useless but a hilarious turn nevertheless. That is why I switched to Black Velvet as he sets up his late game Stealth Rocks, knowing that I can take a hit on either side of the spectrum, but he makes my job a whole lot easier by exploding as I protect, and that moment, when by total accident you end up trolling the troll, let me tell you, it feels good. I decided to start the show with one and only original Porygon, no 2, no Z, because it is one of the very few pokes in Pew that can not only sponge hits with Eviolite, but with download boost it can also hit hard without additional setup. Unfortunately, of all the things I happen to download Microsoft software provided by Mark, which as you would expect, fucks up Porygon's computerized brain completely, making it laggy and crashing all the time. So looking at this matchup, you can notice that this isn't going anywhere. But hell, that didn't stop us from wasting your time. Ladies and gentlemen, the following are the second stupidest competitive battle turns after Metapod Harden battle. Enjoy! Clear Smoke does nothing. Curse is pointless since it's negated with another Clear Smoke, which still does nothing. And so does Rock Slide. Thunderbolt, I'm immune to it. Another useless curse, maybe this time he won't notice it. Nope, he did. Clear Smoke, nope, no damage. Rock Slide, still nothing, and he is out of there. That was fun, wasn't it? So you all liked the recent PU battle against Mark, right?
No.
Anyway, what would you say if I brought you another battle against him? An OU battle. An OU rotation battle. Yeah, take your time to absorb that idea, because that's what I'm bringing you today. So as you can see, we both took it rather seriously, brought a team of OU horse, and as Mark noticed, I spent a lot of time making sure that my team is as balanced as possible and has every single type covered, so it wouldn't get wrecked by things like Terrakion, Keldeo or Breloom. Right. But anyway, because he went for a Dragon Pulse as I protected, I'm pretty sure that he's gonna switch it up to Electric Attack predicting my Gardevoir, which is why I bring my Diggersby. Though. Now here comes a good part. I go to Volcarona, because using the secret technique of counting to 5, I know that Trick Room is about to end on the next turn, so I can set up a Quiver Dance and proceed to do damage. Meanwhile, he switches to Rhyperior, and I really need to know how much a +1 Backbash will do to him before I decide whether sacrificing my Volcarona is worth it or not. So I open up my calcs, start entering all the required informations, and then the game got impatient and decided for me.
Alright, chums, ready, guys? Let's do this. Leroy Dragons!
So Emolga leads off on his side and immediately dies to an Ice Beam. No T-Waves, no drama, Winter Fresh with the first blood, that's what I like to see. So I Death Fodder my Ampharos, and then I wanted to go back to Soak to endure Stall that crucial turn of toxic damage, so that even though he kills me with a quick attack rendering my Salak Berry boost useless, he will also die to toxic, leaving us with Sandshrew vs Specs Goldak matchup, easy enough to predict who comes out victorious out of it. But then, in worst possible time, my stupidity strikes again and I send out Goldak instead, because they are both blue and I didn't bother to look for him actually sending for longer than half of a second. Yep, that's how dumb I get sometimes. So I realized that the only way I can possibly win this now is by acting like this is what I wanted to do all along and modeling my opponent. So using the fact that Pedro is watching my stream, I did my best to restrain my anger and negligently said, "You wouldn't believe guys how often Aqua Jet comes in handy on a Specs Goldak. I know, you can smell the bullshit from miles away, but under the pressure he took the bait and went for a quick attack, leaving me with just 20 HP. However, I get punished for resorting to a ruse by missing a Hydro Pump, but it no longer matters, because now I can just Death Fodder my Soul while his Zangoose goes down as well, so despite my huge misplay we end up with that matchup I was talking about anyway. Genkali doesn't miss for the second time, and that is the game. This is a max speed timid rose rate, and according to every available source, even with 30 speed IVs for HP Fire, I am still 1 speed point faster than max speed timid Vivillon, and as we have clearly seen on a previous turn, he is not holding a choice scarf. So can anyone please explain me why did this thing still outspeed me? Am I missing something? Is it because it has number 666 in Pokédex? Now is my only chance. This is it. Barbaracle coming through. Oh. We both go for a Will-O-Wisp right there, and he misses, which isn't that much of a surprise. I mean, this thing has one eye, obviously it's gonna suffer from vision problems. That gives me an open window to bring the deadliest weapon in my arsenal. A shiny fucking cupcake. How threatening is that? Turns out, quite a bit, especially after it sets up a substitute and then drums on its belly. You know you're into some deep trouble when you see that. Some say you don't kick a man when he's down, others say that doesn't apply to Shackles. I say, actually I don't say anything. He eventually realizes that we aren't getting anywhere, so he decides to serve an actual escargot, seeing which I switch to Barney, but just as he sits down, the huge, supposedly cooked snail on his plate comes to life, breaks his shell with a huge crackle and yells, "Come at me, you fat fuck!" Barney gets so startled by that he jumps back, causing an earthquake and hurting himself quite a bit. In the meantime, everyone goes crazy as Sex Bomb enters the place. I mean, look at this guy. That tongue makes every woman want to bang. And those dancing moves, despite causing another earthquake, are a chick magnet. So now the chef tries to cool down the atmosphere by serving an ice cream. Blissey clearly has a sweet tooth and doesn't think twice, but here is what happened.
Hey, I just met
And that's the dessert along with Blissey down for the count. I lead off with Banette, because my ambitious plan involves not being affected by Smeargle's spore thanks to insomnia, disabling it, bringing my bravery, breaking his charge with U-turn and finishing with Beedrill's Fellstinger for an easy +2 boost. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? Oh. I set up a focus energy on his switch to Handtail so that even though Wish recovers his health back up to full, crit Poison Jab is still an easy to hit KO. Base 105 defense? Guess what? Crit Drill doesn't care. I have literally no way of breaking through this thing. But worry not, the speed up button is here for the rescue.
Hyperspace mode enabled in 3, 2, 1.
He sets up a reflect and then wishes up, so it becomes apparent that my only option is to go through arduous process of PP stalling. For that I switch to Spritzy as he sets up his light screen, wish up as he goes to Simisage and hit him with a Moonblast for a minuscule amount of damage as he reveals his last move with a Synthesis. I go for another Moonblast and take a Seed Bomb in exchange, wish up as his light screen wears off, and then he just recovers all of my damage with another Synthesis. No matter though, without the light screen I am still at a better position, so I keep going for a Moonblast, but then of course, he isn't gonna stay in, is he? No, back comes our beloved Audino, sets up a reflect first predicting my Banner B, but I go to Mr. Mime instead predicting just that. However, knowing that Psychic won't be enough to take him out, I decide to lock myself on an Icy Wind instead, knowing that whatever he switches to is gonna have speed lowered and hopefully taken out by another one. But then, this happens. Oh no, no. Spritzy, save me. Yes, taking it easy, thank you. No. No.
No!
Oh wait, actually, yes, I'm pretty sure I lost, but this tower is also over. Go, Mr. Mime, show that monkey who is in the house. Oh, Audino, you are the bane of my existence, but at the same time I am so happy to see you. I really am. You know why? Because my Mr. Mime is on a mission. A suicide mission. Yes, something is gonna die. Something did die. Bunnelby, there is a job that needs to be finished. No, Reflect isn't gonna help you now, bye bye. Everything dies. Oh, your monkey is scarfed. I mean, of course it's scarfed. Honko's Dynamic Punch is a thing only in my PU boxes. Anyways, that is the game. The only possible way of winning this battle is FE. You see, FE stands for Endure Flare Adaptability EV, which is my own set that I haven't seen elsewhere, and it used to be the icon of my Evolutions team. FE is the kind of performer that either runs the whole show or doesn't do anything at all, so let's see how he's gonna do today. Step 1. Endure predicting an attack and live with 1 HP. Check. Step 2. Get a Salakberry boost. Check. Step 3. Nyan Eevee. And that is FE in a nutshell. So I just decide to stay in and do some good damage with Rock Slide, but unlike Ariados, Kabuto refuses to cooperate, misses all of them and goes down to a Psychic joint with toxic damage. I guess it might have something to do with the fact that its eyes are covered by a shell and it's constantly looking at the ground, but don't worry Kabuto, Zoom Lens will solve that problem once and for all. I go to Gravity Gigas, and if you are familiar with this set, then you already know what's coming. Hyper fucking Beam. Now that's what I call a stylish ending. It's Gravity Gigas time once again, ladies and gentlemen. Although he outspeeds me due to my slow start ability and gets to spin my rocks, I punish him with a thunder from the sky. Return? Ain't nobody got time for that. Big Bill does it in style. And from there, It should be a clean double dance Rhyhorn sweep, if not me being a fucking idiot and thinking that Shiftry has base 100 speed, which would mean that he still outspeed me even after rock polish. I was actually so sure of that I didn't bother checking it, and when I did, I facepalmed so hard that coconuts fell down from my chin. However, Happini probably wants this kill as much as I do and decides that she is not going down no matter what, leaves an Icicle Crash with 28, and that, my friends, is a Happini taking down a Bertig. That's what I wanted to see this battle, and I really wouldn't mind losing to a Swordsdance Last Resort Warthog right now, except, you know, I still have a Chatot, which according to Pokemon Showdown is still PU. I mean, I can totally see why. Life Orb Boomburst is clearly not powerful enough to be viable in NU. Oh, by the way, that is the game. I recover almost back up to full with a Moonlight and then hit him with a Sludge Bomb, which turns out to be a one-hit KO. I honestly wasn't expecting that, as I know Parasect has a pretty good natural bulk, but that's what a Sweet Leaf Overdose does to you. Don't do drugs, kids. This is it, Aurorus. You are finally gonna do something useful. Or, you know, you can't just die to a Volt Tackle, that's cool too. He immediately throws in another massive threat in its place, but I am prepared for it. Or at least so I thought, until my Eviolite Machoke took half from a bandit fucking head smash. I mean, what the fuck? How is this Rocky helmet wearing FIBA so powerful? It's ridiculous. 1, 2, you die. Und das der Spiel. Hydro Pump is cool and all, but just watch this right there. Ah, instant death. That's what we like to see. It is only a matter of time now before I stall out both of his remaining pokes, but I really don't feel like doing that, which is why I eventually switched to Houndoom just to click that Mega Evolve button and demolish him with an overhit, but he has to have some mind reading skills, because he has been spamming Ice Beam for the past 10 turns, only to go for a Rain Dance on the exact turn I decide to switch out. I mean, what is going on? Why? He doesn't have Rain Dish, Ice Beam still does way more than Scald in the rain, he had to somehow predict that switch. This Mesprit clearly doesn't feel like playing games with me, and instead of setting up Stealth Rock, goes straight for a Zen Headbutt. So here comes my Wigglytuff, and there it goes. That's what I get for trying too hard. Now I figured that if he had anything to touch me with, he would have gone for it already, so I decided to make a next level prediction, go for another Will-O-Wisp and cripple his Electabuzz on the switch. But that's not all, my friends. Ready for another veteran play by Wojton'? Let's switch to Evire and see what happens. Got him. Something dies. See you later, Toad. And that's all of the big boy plays for today. Now back to regular schedule, clicking buttons and not trying too hard. And as always, stay tuned. Peace. Yeah, I kinda felt that see you all next time is a bit old, so that one time I'm not gonna say that, okay? See you all next time. Damn it, I've done it anyway.